And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Who knew what, when, and why did the CIA destroy videos of interrogations? It sounds like a classic Washington cover-up, but it's hard to pin this one down. The CIA has admitted destroying videotapes made in 2002 that show agents using harsh techniques to question two Al-Qaeda suspects.
The CIA say that they destroyed the tapes because there was a real risk that the people in the tapes, the interrogators in the tapes, were at risk, and that their families were at risk from members of Al-Qaeda or supporters of Al-Qaeda if those tapes had got into their hands. So they say it was nothing more than that. It was a security issue. That's why they got rid of the tapes.
Clearly a lot of people in Congress not happy. They've accused the CIA of obstructing justice. Did they?
Well, the issue is this. A lot of people have wanted, down the years, to know whether these tapes existed, and if they existed, to get hold of them. And at least one figure in Congress, an important figure in Congress, Jane Harman, the ranking Democrat as she was then on the House Intelligence Committee, knew about the tape and had specifically written to the CIA asking that they not destroy it. There were cases. The 9/11 Commission wanted to know if such tapes existed.
And the President, as we just heard, says he has no memory of these tapes. Is that credible?
Well, I mean, I suppose it's credible in that if the CIA wanted to go ahead and do this, they wouldn't want to involve people who could potentially be embarrassed in the future. I suppose there is some credibility along that line. But it certainly seems that it is embarrassing for all those who've been involved in this, that not just that the tapes have been destroyed, but that they appear to have been destroyed when quite a few people had quite good reasons for wanting to get hold of them.
I have nothing but contempt and anger for those who betray the trust by exposing the name of our sources. They are, in my view, the most insidious of traitors.
I will tell you, Director Deutsch, as a former Los Angeles police narcotics detective, that the agency has dealt drugs throughout this country for a long time. Director Deutsch, I will refer you to 3 specific agency operations known as Amadeus, Pegasus, and Watchtower. I have Watchtower documents heavily redacted by the agency. I was personally exposed to CIA operations and recruited by CIA personnel who attempted to recruit me in the late 70s to become involved in protecting agency drug operations in this country. I have been trying to get this out for 18 years, and I have the evidence. My question for you is very specific, sir. If, in the course of the IG's investigations and Fred Hitz's work, you come across evidence of severely criminal activity, and it's classified, will you use that classification to hide the criminal activity, or will you tell the American people the truth?
If you have information about CIA illegal activity in drugs, you should immediately bring that information to wherever you want, but let me suggest 3 places. The Los Angeles Police Department, the Inspector General, or office of one of your Congress persons from this. Let me say something else. If this information turns up wrongdoing, we will bring the people to justice and make them accountable.
We said within the law, and yet you admitted that there were these CIA secret facilities. Okay.
So what? Why is that not within the law?
The head of Amnesty International says secret sites are against international law.
Well, we just disagree with him. Within the Constitution, within the law, within the law, we've eliminated the laws. And whatever we have done is legal. It's in the law. We had lawyers look at it and say, Mr. President, this is lawful.
Dr. Rubin found that you could hack into an election without even knowing how the system worked. Software like this is installed in more than 30 states. If someone tampers with it, or it just malfunctions, then the wrong people can win elections. If that happens, hundreds of representatives, judges, and other officials may hold offices they are not elected to. How could a computer that is supposed to protect the votes of you and me count backwards to give a candidate negative votes? Either it was an error, or someone had tried to rig the election. There was an investigation into the negative votes, and it was established that the problem couldn't have been due to machine failure, because only the totals for the presidential race were affected. It looked like a second memory card may have been loaded onto the computer. Memory cards contain the votes, but this second card had disappeared, so they couldn't check it.
A call from Senator Kerry comes into the hotel room, which a group of us are there meeting with Reverend Jackson. Reverend Jackson puts his phone on the table, hits speaker, and we're now in a conversation. The first part of the conversation is a dialogue between counsel and Kerry. And part of that dialogue includes Kerry sharing the fact that in New Mexico, no matter what the demographics of the jurisdiction are, if the votes are being counted by optical scan machines, they're coming out for Bush. This is, to anyone who's familiar with the situation, this means Kerry knows there's fraud in that election.
And the optical scan machines are the clue?
Yeah, what he's saying is that it's the optical scan machines are being rigged to produce a result for Bush, contrary to what the votes the voters are casting. So this is not our conspiracy theory. This is not something we have to prove to Kerry. Kerry is sharing this as a matter of fact.
For the record, my name is Mike Ruppert, R-U-P-P-E-R-T. I did bring this information out 18 years ago, and I got shot at and forced out of LAPD because of it. I've been on the record for 18 years nonstop, and I'll be happy to give you, Congressman, anything that I have.
Project Paperclip was a United States government-sanctioned CIA operation for the importation of Nazi and fascist scientists into the United States. Their statement was simply this: if we don't bring these people into this country and contain them, then our enemies, the Soviet Union, will get them. The first wave was to bring these scientists. There was 700-odd propulsion scientists, and then there were some 600 and some odd mine scientist people that they brought in. The CIA was given the responsibility of actually placing the individuals out of Project Paperclip into the military-industrial complex, including our colleges and universities. Mind control was a psychological warfare weapon that Adolf Hitler regarded as the answer for taking over the entire planet. The name for the mind control research in this country was MK-Ultra.
MK-Ultra was one program of a series of programs that came out of the CIA to experiment with different types of mind control.